Hello, I'm Eric Perez. Today I'm going to be doing a long layered haircut. Right now, if you notice, it's all one length. She has no layers. Okay, look at that. She has no layers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some layers in this haircut to where if she combs her hair straight down, it's going to still look one length. It's not going to be choppy. But the minute she does this right here, she's going to have more volume and she's going to have movement to her hair. So basically what we're going to do, we're just going to take off a couple of inches and we're going to add a slight like a face framing in the front. Okay, so I always ask the client, where do they naturally part her hair? And she already told me that she parts her hair all the time right here. Okay, so for those other clients that more versatile, where they'll flip it to one side or the other, that's something that you need to keep in mind whenever you're cutting the front, but we'll get there. All right, you want to take a section from ear to ear here. This is your front section. This is where I'm going to cut my angle here. From here to behind the ear, everything is your length back here. Okay, I'm taking another section on the other side. See, just took that section. And if you notice the hair density, you see the hair density, look at that. It's not as much as the hair that is back here. And these are things that as a hairstylist, you need to keep all this in mind, because when we go to layering the back, we want to layer more back here and begin to keep this length here where it's less layering. So whenever you're doing your layering, you want to make sure that you have a 0 degrees angle right here, because when you start to elevate the hair like this, it's going to create, it's just going to take away too much. But again, there are some girls that they do have a little bit more hair on the side, and if you want to take off a little more, then you could elevate it, but we'll get there later. So I took my ear to ear sectioning right here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and comb everything straight down out of our way, and we're going to take a nice clean section. I usually like to take the section at the top of the ear. Okay, so I take another section here. So that's a good way to gauge it, is you take your sectioning from ear to ear, and then you take another section from the ear to here and from ear to here. Okay, so this will be your first. All right, so when I'm combing the hair down, I'm not over directing the hair like this way. Okay, I'm combing it straight down. And if you notice, I have a cutting board. See this white cutting board here? All right, then you want to also make sure that your client, that she's looking straight. Tilt your head down slightly right there. And you always want to make sure that you keep an eye on her, because I've learned throughout the 20+ years that I've been doing hair is that when the girls begin to think about their boyfriend or the cares of this world, that their head begins to lean to one side. It's the truth. I've seen it. We're only going to take off about, say, 1 inch, because I like her hair long. So we're just going to clean up these ends. Look at this. A nice straight. And you got to make sure that you watch the way that you're cutting with your scissors. You don't want to angle it this way or that way. Okay, so it's very important that when you're cutting, you keep that wrist straight, the scissors straight, and your scissors need to be very sharpened too as well. Okay, look at that clean line right there. All right, look at that, 0 degrees. no elevation.
All right, that's it. I kind of step away from it, look at it. Looks like it's slightly kind of angled going down. So I'm going to correct that. The minute if I were to hold this hair and I go to cut it like this, I've created an elevation, and it's going to be different from this side because look at the elevation right here. See that difference between? All right, so you need to comb this down. Make sure that the hair is perfectly straight. There it is, perfect. All right, that's done. Now I'm going to take the next section. You don't want to take a section that's too thick where you're not going to be able to see what you just cut. So let's see if we can. Yep, I can see that. So we'll leave that as it is. So really on her hair, I've only used 2 sections right there, and that cuts the time in half, as opposed to starting from the very bottom and taking another 1.5 inch section, another 1.5 inches, another 1.5 inches. But if you have to do that, go right ahead by all means. But you saw that I took my first section from the ear down, I raised it up, I cut it. Now there's my guideline, and I'm dropped the rest of the hair. And again, I repeat the steps that I did originally. I comb the hair straight down like this, 0 degrees elevation. And I make sure that she hasn't drifted off, thinking about her boyfriend or whatever else. All right, here we go. Look at that hair. Look at it straight. I've combed it straight down. All right, she's good. Tilt your head down just a little bit. Comb it one more time. There it is. Grab this. Make sure your scissors are straight. Look at that, nice and clean. All right, I'm just tracing already what I did. It's good. All right, there you are. The back is done. The back is done. Now I'm gonna move over to the side. All right. So remember, I already cut all that. I'm gonna take a little bit of that section I just cut. Drop this down, move this out the way. I'm gonna comb this hair behind the ear. Here you gotta be also careful not to elevate it. Look at this, because you have the shoulders here. And if I comb this down and I cut it to connect it with this, look at the elevation. That's not 0 degrees elevation. All right, so what do? So I'm gonna move her over this way, comb this down here, move this hair out the way. Okay, that's 0 degrees, connect it. All right, or you can even move her head over here. See this? I'm moving her head that way and straight down, just right here. All right, that's what I cut. Remember, I told you that we're gonna do a slight angle. You can comb this down. I'm gonna angle it a little bit. I wanna give her a little face framing. Before I cut, I'm looking at this right here.
All right, I had just a little bit of elevation there, but it's okay. And I'm gonna drop the next section, making sure that I can see the section that I just got through cutting. Comb it behind the ear again. All right. All right, here we are here. Connecting this. Just carrying it over, carrying it through. All right, turn your head here. Just kind of angling it just a little bit right there. All right, that's it. I'm going on to the other side right here. I'm gonna do exactly what I did on the other side. Take my section, move it out the way, comb this down. Remember, take this section, move it out of my way, comb it straight down behind the ear so there's no elevation. Just connecting that little bit, which is not much, right there. And I'm taking a little bit of that, moving this hair that's already been cut, taking this, and I'm telling her, go ahead and ask her to move her head that way so I can comb it straight down. All right. Or you can even comb it straight down like this. And do a little slight angle right there. All right. I'm gonna drop the next. And that's it. So remember, this is where she parts her hair all the time. Not sometimes, but all the time. So I want to cut it according to the way that she parts her hair. So I'm moving this, and I want to give her a slight angle. She said she wanted the angle to be long enough where she can still pull it back into a ponytail. So I'm going to take a section. Take another slight section here. I'm actually doing it from eyebrow to eyebrow. So from here to the corner of her eyebrow where it ends. Moving it out the way. See that? From this eyebrow to that eyebrow. Then I'm combing it forward. That. Take a small little section. Pick it up. I'm gonna elevate it because I want it to be soft, where when she pulls it back, it's gonna have a nice flow to it. So I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna flip my comb so I can have more control over the hair as I'm combing it. All right. So there's different elevations here. So I can do it 0 degrees and I can start moving it up. Okay, I'm gonna do it, say about right here. I'll cut that off. And I'm gonna elevate it a little bit more and walk it up one more time. And that should be about it right there. Okay, I like that, and that's still long enough to where she can pull it back. All right, now I'm gonna take the rest of the hair that I haven't cut, and I'm gonna bring everything to the middle. See, there's my guideline right there. Cut that off and walk it up just a little bit. See, it gives her some lift and some face framing there. All right, now I'm gonna take, so I cut that, I'm gonna take a diagonal back. And there's not gonna be much that I need to cut here. Okay, just take a section. Remember, I took my section from here to the end of her eyebrow. So I already cut that. I'm gonna take another, say a 1/2 inch section, grab that, flip my comb, because the teeth on here are smaller than on that side. I'm gonna, all right, I'll cut this here. All right, take another section, drop it down, take the section I just got through cutting, grab it. That should be it. This right here, there should be nothing more else to cut. Just that little corner there. And that's it. Then I'm gonna drop the last section here. All right. This is my last section. Taking a little section of what I just cut, do the same thing. See that? There it is. Take another section, half the section I just cut. Flip my comb. And there's that little corner, and it should really be no more to cut. Extend it this way. Slight little corner. And that side is done. All right, so now I'm gonna do the other side. I'm gonna recreate the same thing I did on one side. You wanna duplicate it. See that right there? A little corner. Take another section here. There it is. Another section. You got to make sure you watch your elevation. I'm not picking it up here. I'm keeping it down here, right here, like I did this side. All right, the last thing. So we did the back and we did the angle in the front. Now I'm going to connect everything for the layers. You can also, for the girls that don't want any layers in the back whatsoever, we can be done with the haircut, because we did the angle in the front, we cut the back, but the hair that is shorter here, when they comb it back this way, it's going to give the illusion that they have layers, but they don't, because look at that. You see that? Because this right here is coming from back here to here, and that might work for her right there. Let's see. I like that. But what I'm going to do, because these ends need to be trimmed, so what I'm going to do is take a big section here to make sure I can trim up the top of her hair. And her hair, you got to know your client's hair texture. Her hair is very, very fine. every strand is so fine here, okay? Look at that. And if you were to go in there and start texturing it and doing all that, it's gonna frizz up on her. So you gotta be very, very careful with that. Originally, we were gonna do the layering, but after looking at doing that angle in the front, that's all the layers that she needs. All right, now, this is something that you need to keep in mind. That whenever you're doing the layering, you gotta be careful not to do the layers and you end up creating a hole down here. And the way that you create a hole, which you don't want, is by taking too much of this hair and you grab it and then you cut it, and when it falls, you're gonna have that hole right here, okay? So just keep that in mind. What you want is you want to take your sectioning like this, sorry, and drop this hair to where it's full. Once you see that it's full here, you're comfortable with that, the rest you go ahead and layer. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna clean up these layers and blend everything. So basically this is what we just cut, dropping that out. And I'm cutting, going this way so I can cut from here to blend this here to my length that is down here. Take this section, same thing, yeah. It's not gonna be much hair to cut. Why? Because I have mentioned before that the hair density here is less. And plus we had already cut the sides and did the angle. All right, this is the last section and then we are done with the haircut. And I'm cutting it angle this way. And that's it, we're done. Now we're gonna blow dry it. What I'm putting in is a product that is amazing, especially for her hair texture. It's called the Daily Fix. It's an organic product. It's vegan, 100% vegan. And so I'm just putting it just on the ends. It doesn't weigh down the hair. It's a leave-in treatment. Helps control the flyaways. It is amazing. But you gotta make sure that whenever you girls, you put the product, you don't just slap it on the top like that. Gotta make sure you emulsify it in your hand, run it internally in the ends like this. Then grab, and then make sure you get the hairs in the front, and those hairs that frizz. For the blow dry, if you want the maximum volume, you want to go ahead and over direct. So if you want volume this way, you need to start blow drying the hair the opposite direction and go upwards with it, not down, unless you don't want any volume. And use your hands as like a brush. And I'm actually putting some tension to her hair. I'm combing through it. And with that and the hot air, it does the job. See, I'm doing it the opposite direction here. And I always have my hands involved. Why do I do that? Is because I don't want to ever burn the client's scalp. If my hands are starting to get hot, then you can rest assured that the scalp is getting hot as well. So that's a cool technique to use. Now grab the hair. remember this, stylist, that you are an artist. All right, when you cut, you are sculpting the hair to do what you want it to do. When you're hair coloring, you're a painter, you're an artist, you're painting the hair. It's so awesome. And when you do that and you approach it that way, then the client, when she goes home, she can reproduce what you did in the salon. The client's hair should be able to, if it's air blow dried, it's still going to look good. Why? Because of the cut is in there. It should be able to, it should style that way. It should air blow dry that way. So I'm going to kind of comb through it just a little bit, just kind of give you an idea. I want you to take a look at this. So this was just completely, I put a little product in there and I rough dried it with my hands and with the heat. You can already see, I mean, and it still looks one length. See that? When you break it up, you get some of that layers in there and some of that volume. Look at that. All right. So I'm gonna blow dry our hair. So I'm gonna take this front section. I always like to start in the front because I want the client to look pretty looking at herself. You notice I'm not using any kind of, I'm not sectioning her hair. See this? I'm smoothing out those ends. You ever wonder why the ends looks real frizzy? Besides, it needs to be cut. But even after a fresh haircut, you wonder why? Because you're not smoothing out those ends all the way. Look at that. Looks like it has layers. See that? See, it looks like it has some layers whenever. Look at that. See that? And we didn't put any layers back here because we decided to go ahead and just, after we angled it, I saw that, you know what? I remembered that all we have to do is just, once she smooths out her hair and she combs it back like that, she's automatically going to get that layer effect. There you have it. All right, let's see the front now. I'm thinking I want to soften this up just a little bit right here. So again, after you finish cutting, you can go back and personalize it, right? Yeah, that's it right here. See that? That needs to be cut. That's what I saw. Softening that corner there. All right, I want you to take a look at this right here. You see how from the front? See how it, see that? Looks like she has layers in there. See, it just kind of goes like this. Same thing on this side. Softening up that one little corner. And that's it. Now I know she said that she parts it here, and I cut it for her to part it there. But she can also, even if she wanted to, she can flip it over to this side. It's gonna look good no matter what.